Hello, everyone. Thank you for visiting us and for giving us part of your time today. My name is Vicente Plata, and I'm a tech lead slash senior software engineer at Shopify, particularly at ShopPay. And I have Antonio here with me. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Antonio. I am a senior software engineer here at Shopify as well. I work on the SFN team. I'm very excited to be here.
No, thank you, Antonio, and thank you, everyone, again. So we are, premiering our idea of what we call a code show, and basically, it's similar to the way we do pair programming interviews, where we come up with a problem, a fun one, preferably. Hopefully, you all think that bingo is funny, and we try to code it from the scratch. So perfection doesn't really matter, which is good because I'm not perfect. I actually mess up more often than not, but that's why I have Antonio to help me out on perfect things. But what matters is to get things done. We internally at Shopify refer to it as getting shit done, which means trying to get the things to work, and then eventually, if we have time, try to make it a little bit more perfect every time. So we're gonna go we're gonna create a game that we call Lotería in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. As you may have probably realized, we are both Hispanics, and it's basically a bingo, but with figures that represent typical parts of Latin America. I created a catalog of bingo slash loteria cards already with emojis, just to make it easier. But the rest of it, it's all going to be from the scratch. We're going to create a React.js app with Create React app. First, try to make it work good, work okay, and maybe eventually try to put some pretty stuff on top of it, or maybe some accessibility tweaks, or maybe automation. I don't know, whatever we can come up with if we have enough time. For that, your help is going to be paramount. So if you have any suggestion, or if you have anything that you'd like us to go at or to cover, please leave a message in either Twitch or YouTube or LinkedIn or like whatever medium you're using to watch us. And yeah, we'll be looking at it and we'll try to address it. So Antonio, I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add before we start.
Not particularly. I'm excited to share this with folks from all over the world.
Awesome.
If there's any Hispanic or Mexican fellows just watching, hey everyone, I actually live in Mexico.
Yeah, Antonio actually lives in Colima, right? Which is
Yeah,
a city, like a coastal city in Mexico. I don't know if you want to talk more about it.
yeah, Colima is kind of an unknown state for everybody in Mexico. There's a joke that there's always a question mark between Jalisco and Michoacan, but yeah, Colima is a very nice place to be. It's the second smallest state in the country. We got a beautiful volcano and we have beautiful beaches, and so it is a very nice place to be. So I'm excited. So I'm glad that I'm here. I'm glad that I'm able to join folks like you and all the folks at Shopify and be able to share this. So
And yeah, that's a cool thing of working at Shopify, among others, that you can work from almost everywhere. I mean, there are a few exceptions, but definitely from almost everywhere around the world, you can work, you can join the team. Throughout the stream, you're going to be seeing a link to apply if you're interested. So yeah, like it'll be cool if you want to join the talent community to like prepare and become like a better or a more prepared engineer, or maybe even to apply at one of our openings, which needless to say, we'd be happy to work with you. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen. I was actually sharing my screen. Oh, and I don't. There you go. So yeah, here is my screen again. I have this thing here. We're going to be using Tuple, which is what we use at pair programming at Shopify. It is a tool that allows you to control the screen and to do some scribbles and to write stuff with your peers, do some pair programming, mock programming, etc. So another cool thing of working here that digital by default is a thing, digital by design. We have the tools that we need to work remotely to pair with folks around the globe. And yeah, generally without any major hiccup whatsoever. So I'm going to go ahead and create a React app that we're going to call Loteria. This may take a little bit of time. Hopefully not that much. So what's happening in case you haven't done it before is it's downloading a template of a React app, of a very standard and vanilla React app. We can use TypeScript. We're likely gonna use TypeScript
Mm-hmm.
because, well, that's what we use, or what many teams at Shopify here use, TypeScript and React a lot. It is not a rule. A lot of internal teams particularly use Rails, like pure Rails end to end. But we decided to use React because, I don't know, it looks cool, particularly for the kind of things that we're gonna do. So
Yeah.
just downloading all the dependencies.
Yeah, quick thing about TypeScript. I think I've been working with it for the past few years, and to me personally, obviously this is a personal preference, it makes the code more robust. Because JavaScript can get a little bit tricky at times, and so it's a great tool to use, and it works with pretty much any library, and it works with pretty much anything that you want to work with, if you're doing React or if you're doing any type of front end development. So, yeah.
So we got it here, and I know it can be a little bit hard to read. So let me try to make everything a little bit bigger. That should be better, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Yeah, completely agree. Doc typing can be a bit of a pain. So that's one of the cool things of like using TS. That, yeah, so it gives you
Yes.
autocomplete a lot. That's very cool. We're gonna probably get rid of most of this, and you know what? I'm just gonna, for the time being, stay with a header, and then
Mm-hmm.
maybe here I'm gonna put, I don't know, what do you think, man? A div, maybe. And yeah, I'm gonna just like copy and paste this thing that we got here, which is our catalog. It has the
Mm-hmm.
type entry. I don't think it's the best way to name it. So, Antonio, I don't know if you have any suggestion as to uh, how to call this.
I mean, it's technically a card. Each
Okay,
item is technically a card. Yeah,
okay. So let's call it a
it has a
card.
name and it has an emoji. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have like a bunch of them. I think they're gonna be around 40 or something like that, 40 or 50.
Mm-hmm.
Each one of them represents something that is generally part of Mexican culture. So, um, for example, here is the rooster, the pig, the dog, the imp, etc., etc.
El Diablito. Mm-hmm.
I know, right? So each
Nice.
one of them is gonna appear on a. Here's how it works, and I'm gonna use the scribble feature of Tuple, right? So the way
Mm-hmm.
it generally works, very much like in Bingo, is you get like a board, we can call it, with something from 9 to 12 of these emojis, so to speak. And then someone starts like, thank you, Orlando. He says, I love the emoji mapping. So someone starts like pulling cards out of a deck. As you get
Yes.
a card that you have on your board, you have to mark it with something. Typically, like a bean or a seed, or maybe, I don't know, rice or whatever you got at hand. The person who wins, instead of screaming bingo, they scream Lotería, obviously. You got to be paying attention, because if you lose your turn, then, well, you may have won, but you don't realize. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there is a link for the guest. I can share it shortly. I mean, honestly, it was just something that I came up with in, I don't know, 20 minutes. So there is not a lot of complexity to it. But what I would love us to do is maybe later today, after the stream, try to share this exercise
Yeah. The source
publicly
code.
somehow. So yeah, I
Yeah.
just want to chat with the folks at Shopify to see if we're going to do it as part of the org, or if we're going to do it like personally, like Antonio and I.
Mm-hmm.
But we're definitely going to try to share it. By the way,
Yep.
now that we talk about the org, I would like to call on to mention that we got David here covering us on the like, back end, on the behind the curtain. So if you hear me saying, "Hey, David, please, I don't know, cover the screen," or "We're gonna show something that is sensitive, David," or whatever, well, it's not necessarily one of you. Like, if your name is David, but it's David, our friend, who is helping us with the logistics and with the streaming and all that, right? So thank you very much to all the folks who made this possible. And yeah, that includes David and the rest of the team, like Paulina, all of them. It's, I mean, you may
Yes.
look at us like a coding thing, whatever, speaking and what have you, but honestly, there is like a team behind us that's making this possible. Thank you very much for that. So Now we got the catalog. What do you think we should do next, Antonio?
So I think that's maybe creating the. So I was thinking that potentially we can talk about a little bit how we are going to structure the mechanics of the game, right?
Uh-huh.
In terms of drawing the cards and making sure that we don't get two cards repeated, right?
Uh-huh.
And also making sure that we have a winning condition and how we evaluate that the winning condition is met.
Uh-huh.
And also there's the part of where we display the grid, right, essentially to the user in order to be able to see which options you have and how to market, right.
Uh-huh.
The game of Lotería is essentially just like bingo, except you see the card once and you don't see it again. Like unlike bingo, you have, generally speaking, you have like a board with a lot of numbers, in some sort of like in on the stage when you're looking at it, right? With Loteria, you don't see which cards have gone. You just have to be really, really uh, observant of what the color is saying, and then the card goes away. And so at the end, when you say Loteria because you got them all, if you have one, if you mismark something, you will not be able to win, right? And so that is something that needs to be considered as well. Like that's
I
pretty part of the winning condition, right? Validating that actually the marked parts on the grid are correspond to the cards that have already been displayed to the user.
I feel like we said cards a couple of times, so I wonder if you want to revisit the name of the thing in catalog, and maybe try to change it somehow. So, by the way, it's like that's the real essence of pair programming. You see my mouse moving. It's not a Halloween kind of thing, but it's actually Antonio, doing his magic. So,
I mean, sort of. I mean, it's sort of like it's. So here we have two things, right? We have the type
mhm,
and we have the actual catalog of uh, of cards, which is more of a deck, right? If you think of a card game, is a little bit more of a deck of cards.
fair point. Yes.
Maybe we can split this, right? Have this in a separate file. I don't want to just pre-optimize or refactor too much, but like this, the naming of the file with whatever is exported needs to be sort of consistent, in my
Uh-huh.
opinion, right? And
Cool.
so here I would say deck,
Good
sorry,
idea. Yes.
and then say deck, right?
Great.
Yes. And so yeah, I would say the next part is building the grids and then start building the logic to draw the cards and displaying them to the user.
Okay.
In this case, I would say, I mean, let's take advantage of hooks, right? We can
Okay.
say use Loteria, right? And so,
For the friends that are watching us, how would you describe a hook?
so a hook is it's a functional construct that allows you to encapsulate logic into it. And so, originally React used to be implemented with classes, but one of the things that was complicated about it is that you couldn't share code because there's no mixins in JavaScript, right? You couldn't share code among things other than probably applying inheritance, and inheritance in JavaScript is a little bit awkward, right? And so the best way to do it, and it actually took me a while to sort of like fully understand how it actually works, is you create an encapsulation of your logic that you can pretty much import anywhere, and it has obviously your input values, but it also has the export values. And so that's really what matters, and that's really what makes it really unique and very compact. And so you can pretty much use it everywhere. That's sort of like the way I see it, right? And so
Totally.
yeah,
Yes.
in this case, like, maybe your input could be the deck itself, um, or we can import the deck directly from the file. right? And we don't have to pass it as a variable. We can talk about what things this will export. So in this case, we can return the method that returns the lottery, the returns that, that brings up the card, probably,
Okay. Like get random card or okay, yeah,
get
okay.
random card. The method that evaluates the winner. Evaluate winner. Oops. What else I can think of? I mean, we'll just start thinking about
Okay.
it. The grids. We're just gonna say 1. And here we're just gonna build it, and we're gonna return the grid to the user.
Cool.
I'm a little bit on the fence on the naming. Grid versus ballot versus board. We'll see what sticks.
Fair. I'm trying to get control of my
Of your own computer.
yeah, because you know
You
what?
could
I
just
just
click.
realized that I put a Slack on top of the oh there we go. Yeah, I put a Slack on top of the comments on the stream. So yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, continue. I just had to restart my Windows.
All right. What do you think about this?
I think it makes yeah, it makes sense. So yeah.
All right, let's start with implementing the get random card method. So we have the deck, right? And potentially we probably need to keep a state of what cards have been already drawn from the deck.
Yes,
So
because otherwise you start risking like I don't know, drawing out the I don't know the guitar twice or something like that, and that'll be. I mean, it'd be an interesting twist, but it wouldn't necessarily be like logical with what happens in the real world. Yeah.
Do you think keeping 2 different stacks of cards is worth it, or do we say recursively, draw, and if that card already exists in the drawn stack, then we can retry the draw
I think it's going to be a little bit more performant to have both of them, and then moving the cards from one to the other, so that
from one
you
to
don't
the
have
other,
to.
right?
Yeah, so you don't have to do like this cross validation every time you pull something out. So imagine when you only have one card left, like you're basically gonna have to check whether it's on this one, because you're not depleting the first one, if I understand correctly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
yeah,
All
I
right,
feel
let's do
like
that then.
eventually we may want to return the state of well yeah like both decks, but maybe cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah. We can say something like current card. Yeah, we can discuss it at some point. Yeah. All right, so the first one.
So are you doing a modular reveal style pattern? I'm not sure what you mean by modular reveal style pattern. So if you could like expand a little bit. Are all cards unique or are they multiple of one type of card? Yes. So that's why we're doing this with 2 different decks, because we don't want them to be like repeated, right? So we're gonna store a state, or well, we're gonna store 2 state variables. One of them with the cards that are remaining on this deck, and one of them with the cards that have already been taken out of the deck. So that in theory, it's gonna be way easier to validate that there are no duplicates when drawing, right?
We could just say drawn. Is that my English is failing me there? Is that the correct one? The correct word?
I think it is the correct word, yes. So you could use a set possibly instead of an array then. We could use a set instead of an array, yes.
Set?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't worked with sets a lot, but yeah, I leave it to you. So You
No, I
can
haven't either,
type.
but I mean, it's part of the thing, right? You can like figure it out. I do recall like working with them once on a similar problem. So yeah, we can see what's up.
Yeah, sets. Okay, I don't know if how it works with the, because I remember seeing sets and being like a little bit complicated or a little bit too.
Let's go with an array, and then I
Yeah,
would
let's go
say
with arrays.
if we have time within 90 minutes, we can go with a set. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So let's import whatever's missing. All right. In this case, we're gonna get the card. Well, sort of randomize. I'm a Ruby dev, so there's a shuffle method in Ruby, but I don't know where's the shuffle method in
No.
JavaScript.
In JavaScript, it's something like get random int, and then you have to multiply it by something, which I think is the one that sets the upper boundary. So yeah, but it's like again the kind of thing that I know like out of top of my mind. So let's Google it. And you know what? That's something that you can do like when you are on an actual programming interview here at Shopify.
Yeah.
It's no wait
Oh, sorry. I think I think I took your.
yeah, no, I'm like trying to like, so basically what you do is something like this, where obviously max is like upper limit. In this case, I guess it's gonna be like are you gonna deplete initial deck? I guess so, right? So
Yeah.
something
So
like that,
that's.
right? New random card index. So let's do that and return initial deck at new random card index. But before that, so new random card is initial deck at new random card index. So I draw it, and then I remove it from the current deck, right? So I go like set initial deck. So like this, right? I think, and I do deck filter. Why? Okay, I don't know why it didn't. Probably because we need to type this and go here, right? So it's gonna be. I'm gonna add the type here, which is funny. I mean, it should have worked.
It should infer it.
Yeah,
It should be infer.
yeah. So, but it's doing any here. Deck any, set initial deck any, set in. Yeah, why? Okay. We'll find it out.
We'll not worry about that for now.
Yeah, we're typing it just so that we get like a autocomplete and all that. Oh, look at this. Expected 0 type arguments, but got 1. Yeah, well, I mean, that's I wonder if we need to add TypeScript as a dependency, eh?
I believe so, yeah.
Do we have it here? No, we don't have it here. Okay.
No, we didn't initialize with TypeScript.
Yeah, no, that kind of makes sense then. So let's do. We're gonna use yarn, or we're gonna use npm.
I would say yarn.
Okay. So let's add it here. We're adding TypeScript, and hopefully that's gonna help us. I don't think it will, but well, yeah, something weird is happening here. Anyway, so we're gonna filter it here, and what we're gonna return is the cards where the emoji that we're gonna use as a key is not the emoji in the new random card. Right? And we can probably do it like this. What do you think? So we can just like set it. Do you think that's gonna work?
I believe so.
Okay,
So
so quick
deck
fix.
has
Yes,
imprisoned.
just no. Why are you
What?
doing this?
What is going
I
on?
fear we're messing something up. But you know what? In Barbara's words, there are no, like, what is it? Happy mistakes or something like that.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
no mistakes. There's only
yeah.
happy accidents.
Yarn is life. I agree with that. Yeah. So
Yes, same.
yeah, I would like to give this a go. What do you think, Antonio?
Yeah. So let's const. Okay, evaluate
So
winner.
I'm gonna probably like just return something whatever. Like I'm just gonna return false, eh?
Mm-hmm.
For the time being.
And probably just the grid will be an empty. Yeah, an empty array essentially.
Okay. Let's return an empty array. Because I do feel like eventually we're gonna, oh, and we need to add it here, right? So yeah, set initial deck, set round, and we're gonna, how did you do this? Like add
Yeah,
this,
you add the
and
card and
then
then you
random. This is correct, right?
card. Mm-hmm.
I think so. All
That
right.
sounds correct.
So drown, new initial deck dot length. And we're gonna decrease it, and we're gonna increase this thing over here, and then we're gonna return. Well, we got it here, so this should be good, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. So should we maybe start to create like something very vanilla here?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm gonna create, and this is just for the sake of testing it, is a I'm gonna add another div here, and I'm gonna add a state variable with the current card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Current card. And you know what? We're probably gonna get rid of parts of this, but I just want to test that logic. I just want to test it quickly,
Mm-hmm.
to like make sure that we are doing it okay, right? So on React is not defined, dude. I feel like we are gonna
We're
have
missing
some
something.
issues with yes. But well, the only way of realizing what you're missing is by actually coding and by actually running your code. So that makes it
Yeah.
interesting, I think.
So I found the command to adding the TypeScript completely
Uh-huh.
to the project. So
Am I missing something? Okay, cool. Go.
let me. So the last thing
Oh, okay, cool.
let's add that too.
Yeah,
Maybe that's gonna do something.
that kind of checks.
Yeah. So I think that in this case now we can rename this app.js to TypeScript. Oh, see? The warners
Oh,
of
beautiful. Thank you, man. Yes.
Yeah. We can even get rid of this
And
and the
can we
type will get
zoom the
inferred.
view in a little bit more or increase the text size? Yes, we can certainly do that. Okay. I guess we're going to lose like a lot
of real estate. No,
yeah.
that's all right actually. Yeah. So kind of want to change this one
Sure.
to TypeScript. PSX. Yeah. Now we have it. And now we can import the Lotería. So we can say
Yes.
const. We probably want to destructure only the get
Get
random
random
card
card.
method.
Yes.
Use Lotería. Oh man, I love this autocomplete. It does it for me. And then we can say, yeah, we can technically just say get random card here.
Mhm.
And probably add something here that says, a pretty straightforward button. Whoops. Oops.
On my personal machine, like for pet projects, I've been actually using a GitHub Copilot for the last couple of weeks. I mean, I'm
Not
not
use
entirely
Lotería, get
clear
random
on
card.
I'm not entirely clear on the license implications, and that's why I don't use it like for work here at Shopify. But for personal things, oh my goodness, it just pretty much saves you all day. So that's very cool.
Yeah, all the boilerplating, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So get random card. So essentially, what we want to do here is we're probably gonna say
Set current card.
set
Yes.
current card to this, right? It's a little bit like it's a little bit dirty, so you have to bear with us. And I think that's it for now. I'm actually wondering because like we're comparing emojis here. We're not comparing the name. We're comparing the actual
No,
emoji.
but it's a string.
Yeah, it is a string, but it's yeah. I've never compared emojis in programming. That's
I
funny.
think it should work. Like, yeah, it should work. Let's see.
Yeah. So let's run it.
Yep.
npm start.
But we were.
Oh wait.
Yeah. No, I don't know if you generally use like a start or def, right? So. Ooh. Okay. Type card is not assignable to never. Yeah.
So okay. So this is actually where we have. Let's go back to the editor real quick.
I need to do that, right? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So this is where here we're not saying anything. We're just saying that this is an array, but obviously
Oh, fair point.
it is actually correct to say that it's a never type. And this is where we say this is going to be an array of cards.
Yes.
And so if we go back to the browser real quick.
Oh, we got a different one. Yeah, that's cool.
Too many
re-renders. Okay. Yeah, no, I think we got to look at maybe app.tsx. There's something that that's making it change probably the state every time, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So let's change this code a little bit. Instead of returning the, let me close this so we have a little bit more real estate here. So instead of calling get random card every time, let's actually say here, let's move the state here. So const rent card. Right now is going to be nothing, but it will be a card. Don't know yet, right? But here, at this point, we're going to say set current card, new random card. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to also export the current card. And now we say, instead of this,
You also disrupt
we on click.
current card.
Yeah, on click, we just say get random card. We don't need that. And we just say current card. Yeah. And so now we delegate that logic of getting the card from to the hook itself, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Object is possibly undefined.
possibly undefined.
There we go. So now we go back and we add
yeah, there we go.
and now we add the option type here.
Good one, yes. Cool.
I think that should do the trick. Yep. Let's go back to the browser.
Let me change it, and I think we should add a label to that button, right? That's probably why.
Oh yes, yes. That actually makes sense. I forgot all about it.
Yes. Interestingly, I'm still not seeing it. So
It's probably compiling still.
no, you know what? I think it's a style. So yeah, there you go.
Oh no.
See,
There
yeah,
you
no,
go.
it has to do that. Yeah, it has to do with Celsius here. So I'm just gonna get rid of it, and I'll put this instead of an I don't know H1 or something like that. So let's put this here and then this here, and oh, look at that! Yes, awesome.
There you
So
go.
we're getting one.
Um,
I don't know what's gonna happen when we run out of them, but so far I haven't seen them repeated, right? So yeah,
no, what we could potentially do.
there we go. Yeah,
There you go.
that
It's now
worked. Yeah,
undefined.
yep.
So what we can do right now, just so we have visually like the comparison between the two, right? We
Mhm.
can render in one side the cards on the deck, and on the other, we can render the cards that have been drawn. Now here, I think that this random generator could be what initializes the the initial deck. So you get a different randomized deck every time, right? Because it seems like,
Oh,
let's
okay.
think about the card stack, right? We
Yes.
are sort of every time on every turn we're opening the deck and then drawing a card from a random place in the middle, right, or at the top or at the bottom. But in reality, well, actually that kind of works. But in reality, you sort of get the cards from the top, right?
So, like from the get go, you shuffle it and then start doing pop, 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 right? Is that the plan?
Yeah, a little bit like that.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't know why I lost. There we go. Okay.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So we can sort of do that. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe it's actually going to be
Oh,
it's actually going to look cool if we take random items from the array.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'll leave it up to you. I'm not
All
sure.
right,
There's like a lot of
let's
yeah.
just try it out. I think
Okay.
that's the best way we can go about it is trying it out. So, all right. So we're gonna say that we want to export both decks. So initial deck is actually gonna be and drawn. I'm actually going to go with stacks as a naming convention.
Okay.
I'm still not sure, but it feels more natural. So initial deck. Well, actually, this is going to be a list. We're going to say return a list element. Oops. Didn't like that. Oh, it's because I haven't exported it yet. Okay. Initial deck and
From
on. Yeah. So this is where we say card emoji. And then, oops, card name. And then we sort of duplicate this part down here. And we pretty much do the same for drawn. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I actually wanted to make this for...
yeah, and there's a heck possibility that it's gonna complain about the key. So I don't know if you wanna like add it
Oh,
from now.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to complain about the keys. That's a good call out. You could just use the card name because it's
Yeah,
unique.
it ain't gonna repeat. Yeah.
And so here we can say kind of like, H3 or an H3. Let's copy and paste for the sake of time.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's gonna
Yeah,
look cool.
it seems like that should do the trick.
Yeah. I don't know how it's gonna look like, with 60 or something, no 40 or something emoji name on the first list. But well, at
Yeah,
least we can see how it depletes little by little and how the other one starts filling, right?
yeah. I'm a backend dev, so I don't know how to center divs. So I defer that to you entirely. Oh,
Alrighty,
there you go.
so
It's already there.
yeah, no. I mean, it's centered, but yeah. So as
You
we
see?
start, yeah, as we start removing them from here, there's also
Nice.
another cards down here that like starts, yeah, that starts pulling it from here. So by now I think it's evident that this thing works, right? Yeah, yeah, cool. So that's yeah, we already added the key here. That shouldn't be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
problem.
Thanks for the
Either
tip.
the
Yeah,
name or the emoji. Yeah,
it's probably a delayed comment, so
yeah. Okay, cool,
I'm
cool,
pretty
cool.
sure he was
Yep,
ahead of it already.
yep. Thank you for that. Yes. Alrighty. So, how do you want to build the boards? Would you like to add it as part of the hook that you created? Do I enjoy working at Shopify, dude? That's basically why we're here right now. I think we love it
Yes.
so much that I don't know. We just want to share like the good vibes and a lot. I've had like a lengthy career, and honestly, it's one of the coolest places that I worked at so far. I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. So yeah, apply today. I don't know what do you think, Antonio.
Yeah, same. Honestly, like I get to spend time with folks like you and like my team. Shout out to the onboarding squad. It is amazing. I've been able to meet a lot of amazing people, and everybody's super smart. So I always feel like I am supported every time, and that makes me really confident on what we're shipping. So because like in this case I think you're more of a front end than I am, and I'm more of a back end, right? And so the collective individual talents is what makes the products and what we ship very solid. And so yeah, it is amazing.
Cool. So I'm thinking we can create the component for the board for the time being because the app TSX it's starting to get a little bit chubby. And
Yes,
then perhaps we
yeah,
can think
for
about
sure.
the logic on the component itself. What do you think?
Yeah, it would probably be sort of similar. We just got to pick like 12 different emojis from the deck. Obviously this time we don't have to remove an ad from a different stack. So that's probably what's going to happen. I believe that the board itself should not know how to implement the logic of picking. It should be the hook, the use Lotería hook,
Okay.
who should tell him, that what the card is going to look like. Yeah, what the
So would
grid is
you
going to look like.
would you do some like I don't know, generate board or
Yeah,
something
we
like
could
that?
do like a generate board method. Yeah, for
Cool.
sure.
And then generate board.
Hi, Dad. I know you're watching. I'm an
Is he
engineer
is
because
he
of my
like?
dad. He's a programmer
Oh, that's so cool.
from the old days. He's a badass on basic on like all those languages that I don't know.
Oh man, that's neat. Alrighty, so we are gonna get 12 random cards. So yeah, we can do it with yeah. Let's go with 12. Get 12 random cards. Uh, and then what are we gonna return? Are we gonna return like the array itself? What do
Yeah,
you
we could
think?
just return.
Okay.
Yeah, we could just return the array of 12 positions. Yeah, like inside of the board component itself, right? We're going to make it 3 rows or 4 rows depending on how we want to lay it out. But yeah,
Yeah, but that's going to be like purely logic, right? I think
purely
because you
presentation.
need
Yeah.
to actually validate them all. So what I'm thinking about is for a winning condition, you can just run like I don't know, maybe an every on the array.
Hmm.
And if you do it as a matrix, then you need to like do an every on an every, right? Which
Oh
makes it a
yeah.
little bit more complex. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a for loop, and I know it's not necessarily like the most sophisticated way of addressing this, but well, it's certainly gonna work, I think. So
Yeah, just make it work and then we'll make it better. Yeah.
yeah. Board cards is gonna be an array, and then board cards push a new get random. Oh, but you know what? We are doing this. Yeah, that's going to be a biggie because instead of actually getting a card from here,
Mm-hmm.
we are like we are depleting the deck, and it's not necessarily something that we want to do here, right?
Yeah.
So we can do two things. We can like copy and paste this logic, or we can pull it to a separate method. What is your take?
So I think that's yeah, we can randomize the original array here and pick the first 12, right? I actually found a randomized method here. So we can
Okay.
say const randomized uh, deck. Whoops. Oh my god. We're gonna say. We're actually gonna say just deck, I believe. Right, and then here potentially. I just googled this, so I'm hoping that that's gonna do the trick. So return from 0 to 12. So in Ruby we do like 0 dot dot 12. In JavaScript we could potentially use slice,
Yeah.
right? So we
Yeah.
say randomized slice 0 to 12. And so that should technically pick the first 12 elements of it. Oh, you know what? Oh, yes. Yes, it does. Okay. All right. What do you think about that?
Okay, that should do. What is minus 0.5 used for, by the way?
So the start method only accepts a function that returns a value between 0.5 and minus 0.5.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Cool.
So we can say, where's the generate board? Generate board is over there. And here we can pretty much create it, import it. It's starting to get a little bit crowded, so we're just gonna give it a little bit of
Yeah,
space.
I think it looks like that because we have like a big font, right?
Yeah, but it's still, let's
Yeah,
make it a
cool.
little bit more compact. And so in this case, we can say we still haven't defined what the interface for board is going to be. So in this case, let's say going to define our props, and it's literally going to be emojis. Emojis. Yeah, it kind of feels weird to do that. Cards. We're just going to call it that. And we're going to say cards equal wait, am I doing this wrong? No, we
No,
don't
no.
need to say that. We say props.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. We're just going to display it for now. We're going to make it look really nice later. Right now, it's not going to look great. We're gonna say emoji first, actually.
Yeah, to be consistent with the list, right?
Yes. Then if we go back here, we say generate board. So let's say HD board. And it's gonna be cards. Generate board initially.
I think you're gonna pass it like. Okay, let's see how it behaves. I feel like calling it inside that return may like rewrite it every time, but yeah, let's see.
Yeah. Okay.
You're
Yeah,
probably
that
gonna
actually
put it
makes sense.
on an effect, maybe, right?
Const user board. Something like that.
Yeah.
And we can
And then
say
you init it on a, well, yeah, you can do it as the default initial value or on the use effect without a
generate
without any
board.
bar. Yeah.
So this is
Okay,
going
yeah,
to
sure.
go down
Sure.
because it's not going to like it. Oh no, that's not it.
No, that's no.
Here.
Yeah.
There we go.
That should do it. Yes.
That should do it. Yes.
Where is it? Did you put it at the end, maybe, or like why?
No,
Oh
that's
no, there you
it's
go.
right
Board.
there.
Yeah, because yes, I was getting confused with the.
I'm
with
pretty
the
sure if
line.
we refresh, we're gonna get a different one. Yeah.
Yes.
El pescado, la araña, el músico. Yes.
Oh my goodness, this is looking so cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's make it look a little bit prettier, if that's okay with you.
Yes.
Cool, yeah. So this thing looks good, and this is for this one. So I can add it here, and let's set this as display.
You need double braces. Yeah.
Display and this one. One 10%. I just think that's gonna make it a little bit prettier. Oh, why? No.
I mean, it does. We have
wrap,
to
right?
slice it up. I think we have to slice the array on like pairs of 4 or 3.
No, but that's why I put it here like a 30%, right? So
Oh yeah, 30% of the screen. Yeah.
yeah, but it's not wrapping it, I think. Let's see. Yeah, see, it should, no, it's definitely doing it poorly. So it's got this thing here. So what is it missing?
Do we want to say that it has flex direction or something, or flex flow? Mm-hmm. There's a suggestion already saying flex flow.
I think it's wrap, right?
Yeah.
Where is the suggestion? I missed it.
Oh, in the chat. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. So it's gonna be wrap. At least that's the one I. Flex wrap. Wrap.
Mm-hmm.
See if that does it.
Oh, there you go.
It's better.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And
yeah, thanks for the suggestion.
Yep, that was so cool, man. Thank you. I'm not sure if I want to move it here though, and we're not using this, but well.
Display flex and then flex wrap.
Mm-hmm. Board and square. Mm-hmm. And we set it to
30%. Yeah.
This and
Is there a lot of movement between teams in Shopify? The job I'm interviewing is for front end development and customer support, but I'd like to end up in engineering eventually. Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it depends. So you you sort of you can make your own path essentially. Um, as far as I understand, I'm fairly new, so maybe Vicente has more context on this, but yeah. I mean, honestly, every team I've been involved with is awesome. So there's going to be a lot of growth wherever you land.
I think I messed up. I think it's not taking the style here. No, you go away. So yeah, no, I don't think there is that much movement. Yeah, look at this. It's not. No, but that should work anyway, shouldn't it? I
As
don't
far
think
as I
there is that
understand.
much movement unless you like you actually want it. But yeah, there is always the possibility I've seen happening a couple of times of people switching between teams. So that shouldn't be a problem if you're into it. Now, something an allegory that we try to use internally is what we call a jungle gym, and that's something that I really like. And it's basically about just trying to, like Antonio mentioned, choose your own career, choose your own adventure, and yeah, learning whatever you got to learn to be better at your craft, right? And your
Yeah.
craft can be seen as being particularly good at something or as empowering other teams, right? So
Hmm.
that's actually very cool. I don't think I've seen anyone like arguing that you shouldn't switch roles or try new things. It's actually the other way around, right? So
It's actually encouraged. Yeah. Your growth at Shopify is 100% encouraged.
yep. So yeah, the jungle gym is real. People moving to data scientist role and dev roles. Actually, one of the PMs that I've been working with, he was first a data scientist, I think, and then he switched to dev, and now he's a PM. So he's like literally living the dream. Yeah. Alrighty. So what do you think I'm missing here, man? Like, I don't know. Is it actually? Yeah. Look, like,
Board square, flex 130%.
did we?
Board, flex,
Okay.
flex wrap. So one thing that I notice, I don't know if
Uh-huh.
you have to remove this.
Dude, that's probably the root cause. Yes.
Let's switch it
Oh,
back.
look at
There we
that!
go.
Saved my life. Yes. Cool. And now, what would you go for next? Should we continue like prettifying this thingy to make it look more like the actual Loteria where you have the big emoji and then the name, or should we move forward with the logic?
So I think in this case, what we can do is we can start selecting, right?
Okay. Cool.
So
So that whenever you draw a card, you actually try to see if it's part of the board, right?
yeah. So there's two things. One is it should be automatic. Every time you select, a new card should show, right? Um,
Okay.
I don't know if it's good user experience, right? But that's how it is in real life.
Well, I don't have any biggie with it, but so first, not all of the cards are gonna be part of your board, right? So there are going to be times where you're actually going to have to say, you know what, there are no cards. Well, the card that you draw is not on my board. So for example, here I don't have the cacti or the nopal or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's when you say sort of like next, right?
Yeah, yeah. So this button
Next
still has to
card.
be here, right?
Yeah, that's still gonna be there. Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you click it, it may be automatic. Yeah.
So I think something we're going to have to pass then to the board is the current card, just to validate that it's actually in the board and that you're not trying to fold the thing, right?
No, that's part of the game. If you fool it and you say Lotería, and at the end we check that you didn't, then we say actually it's not good because
Okay.
yeah, that's how you play it. So like literally, there's a person. So in like fairs, in Mexico here, like there's a person shouting the card, literally like El Sol or La Campana, right? And then somebody says Loteria, and then the person goes to you and says, "All right, this is good," and then compares the cards and is like, "All right, esta es la buena, and then he wins, right? But it has to go and actually validate. So that's kind of like part of the game. If anyone tries to fool the system, they're gonna get called out right there.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So let's do. Let's go ahead and click.
Mm-hmm.
Then let's call it. So when you mark this, we're gonna need to have state that's related to this card in particular, and that can be. I see different ways of doing this, and I don't know which one you think would be more appropriate. So one of them would be like an array where the index gets mapped against the index on this card, and then we introduce this here as part of the map method, and it's an array of Boolean values. The other one would be to extend this type, the card type, and add the Boolean that says if it was checked or not. Now the problem is if we extend it, I think we're gonna need to pass it from the container, right? From the Tiger component.
So I think that's still it's kind of gonna be pretty similar to the other one. We're gonna have a stack of already marked cards, right? And so we can say something like const selected, and set selected. I don't know if this is the best approach, but this is something I'm going to be like trying at. Selected is going to be empty, but it's going to be an array of cards. Oops, this is singular, yes. And we're going to import this. Yes, there we go. And then we can say const on card selected or handle card select. Whoops. Sometimes I type too fast. So let's say here it's going to receive a card, right? And literally what we're going to do is we're going to set the state here. We're going to say set selected. We're going to add the card to it. What is this complaining about?
It's an array, right? And I think you're treating it as an object. Yes.
Yeah, sorry. That's my mistake. Yeah, there we go. And so here we can say on click handle card selected. And then what we can do.
You need to pass the card. So you'll need to put in
I need to pass the card. Nope, it's actually not that. And we got to pass the card here. Right? And so we can add some additional styling to mark that this card is already here, So here, this is probably, in this instance, we can transform this into a function like that. And say something like, whoops. Selected equals selected. Is there an includes method?
You can use a what's the name of that? No, it's not.
Oh, there's an includes method.
There's an includes, yes, but you could also use anyway. There's an method on the array that I think is gonna would be helpful.
Contains selected any selected card.
Oh, because you're renaming it, right? So you're overwriting selected with the selected in the use state.
Yeah. I'm gonna call it active, right? Yeah. And then we sort of say add a special class when it's active, just to denote that it's already been selected. What do you think about this?
Sure. Oh, it's active, right? The name of it,
Active,
yeah.
yeah.
You can probably do like a shortcut ampersand, I think.
Oh, yes. Ampersand.
Active.
There you go.
Cool. Alrighty.
What do you
So,
think?
yes, fantastic. Let me. Okay, so yeah, yeah. So there is something that we have a like an internal resource called a patch, for example, where and I'm sorry, I was not looking at the tips from the team that is like supporting us. So regarding the question about how would you jump from one place to another, there's something that we call patch, where if you start not as a developer but as something like another discipline, you can ramp up your development skills. And there are some internal programs like the apprentice product manager, for example. The product manager that I'm working with right now, like he's awesome. And he's actually part of that program where he was on support, I think, before. And he applied to the apprentice product manager program. So he got trained and he's like right now a PM, like a training, leading parts of the product with the context that he gained as a lead of support for a couple of years on Shop. So it's not only something that you can do, but it's something that would potentially help you a lot, right? And that could help like the product that you're working at a lot with the context that you gathered before. So there are plenty of options. Like even if you start not necessarily as a like fully code oriented engineer to eventually catch up to it. Should you take it? I don't know. I guess it's entirely up to you. But are there mechanisms in place to like help you catch up? Definitely.
Hmm.
Cool. So how did it go? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I need to go to the browser to look at it.
Okay. Let's. It's dead. Cannot find
Cannot
this.
find name use
Oh,
state.
oh, you know what? It stopped. Yeah, yeah. It it
Oh, there
it
we go.
hit the debugger and it was like a stop. So let's try. Ah,
Músico, el mundo, el
cool.
sol, el zorro, la calavera. So I think let's go, dude. It's coming along. So
Nice.
if I regret what I'm doing, I can take it back. I think
Can you? Okay.
I should be able to click again to say, oh no, I made a mistake, right? Because
Okay.
like you can potentially misclick, right?
Yeah, you can say that you misclicked, but actually be cheating. But let's not get into detail. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
No, but like during the game, you can technically misclick, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So if you click it, where is the handle card selected?
There's where we gotta like do the reverse action. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's selected card. Let me try to get what you're doing here. So you got the cards that you clicked. So if selected includes card,
Mhm.
then we remove it, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
While Vicente works on that, there's a question that says, "Do you need previous experience with React and/or Rails to be considered for dev roles at Shopify?" Honestly, you don't. There's folks in my team that are that come from like different backgrounds. I'm actually so from all the people that are onboarding with me, I'm actually the only one that has Rails experience. Everyone else is learning it, and so Shopify supports you in order to for you to be able to learn the language. The most important thing is that you can, um, contribute. You can code. You can think through critical problems, and you communicate very well. That's at least my experience when I did the Shopify interview. That was what was valued the most, and I think I really appreciated it, that the fact that I didn't have to solve any complex problems in a particular programming language, but I had to sort of sit down with another developer, and we would talk about things and talk through the reasoning behind a problem statement and how I would implement it. and then we would essentially work through it together, right? Obviously, me being the person being interviewed, just leading the coding. But you don't have to interview in Rails, or you don't have to interview in Ruby. You can interview in Java, or you can interview in JavaScript if you like, and then you'll be learning the technologies necessary to be able to do the job at Shopify.
Yeah. So actually, two of the folks that I'm working with right now, they have this common situation that they came from a Swift or Objective C background. So they were core. Well, I'm a native iOS developers, and we onboarded them on React Native. One of them is wrapping up his onboarding. I'm sure he's going to do great for what I've seen so far. The other one already wrapped up their onboarding, and oh my god, I'm impressed. So if you got
Yes.
like this problem solving abilities, and
Mm-hmm.
you definitely need to have experience because you're going to talk about how you address some problems that you saw before, about some architectural patterns and systems design, all that. So you need to have experience on something, but it does not necessarily have to be the stack, which again, it is mostly Ruby and Rails with a touch of React every now and then when appropriate. And there are a few other technologies that we use internally as well, like some Go for like I think for data streams and all that. So Python here and there, but for the most part, you're gonna have to learn Ruby, and it wouldn't hurt if you know like JS and TypeScript. If you're not gonna be working on it like on a day-to-day basis, but
Mm-hmm.
you do not necessarily need to be like strong on it. Uh,
Yeah.
a lot of the coding interviews that I've done lately are in Python, for example, where I kind of know the language, or in Java as well. I even
Mm-hmm.
got someone doing it on C Sharp. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's not a must by any means, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I did, and I wanna show it to you, Antonio. It's
Mm-hmm.
working. It's
Nice.
pretty much just a if you have the card as part of your selected stack already,
Mm-hmm.
then we filter it out pretty much. So CS card is the
Exactly.
name of this, like inside this functional buckle,
Yeah.
and then return. Otherwise, like it's an implicit else, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Then we continue with the logic that you had previously, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
Oh man, it's coming along. I was nervous. I was like, how are we gonna solve this? But then, like, as we go through it, it's really coming together. I'm glad.
No, I assure you, like we worked on we came up with the catalog of emojis, and we talked briefly about ideas how we could address it. But this code, it's absolutely from the scratch. So
It's
yeah,
from
I
scratch. We're
I
not
know
lying.
we've kind of like struggled along on some parts on that, but it's part of the game, part of the deal, right? So,
Part of the experience, yes.
all righty, cool.
So how about the winning condition? How about like we now um, add the button to say Lotería and have
Okay,
the logic to evaluate if you actually won or not.
okay. I think given the fact that we have selected as a state on the board, I feel like that should be part of the board component. What do you think? Because otherwise we'd need to move this somewhere else, right?
Part of the board component. It is part of the board component.
Yeah,
Wait.
no, so would you add the button here, for example?
Oh yes, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Okay,
we would say, yeah, I would say probably at the bottom. Yeah.
cool. So let's add a fragment.
Yeah.
Condition. We're gonna like Lotería. There we go. But you know
Yeah.
what?
There you go.
It's in Spanish, so we're gonna yes. Lotería. There we go.
There you
So
go.
let's create a check winning condition. And I do remember, Antonio, that you had a something exposed on the hook. Would you like us to go back to the hook and see if we use it, or what
Yeah.
is your take?
So I believe so. Let's think about the call stack first.
Mhm.
So in this case, the logic of checking the winning condition should live in the hook itself, right? Which
Mhm.
means that we can say here, on Lotería. Well, we don't need an accent here. It's not going to combine. And so we're going to say that it's going to receive a function. So select, we're just going to say, yeah, selected or wherever. Like it's not going to be an object. So it's going to be a function here, which is going to be a stack of cards, an array of cards. And then here we say that literally. So on click is going to, we can put it here. We can say on Lotería selected, right?
So yeah. Meanwhile, I would like to address a question. Do you like using CSS in JS, or do you still prefer SCSS? I personally like using cell components. I know it may not be like necessarily a popular opinion. I personally like using cell components, but I think there is a library, particularly for React Native, that is actually public, made by Shopify. It's called Restyle, if I remember correctly. So that's generally what we use on React Native. Uh, I like SCSS more than I like CSS, but I mean, for the purpose of this exercise, I don't think it's like necessary. We barely use CSS for that matter, right? So what do you generally use? What do you generally play with, Antonio, for CSS?
I mean, I've been using Bootstrap for the longest time. I
Okay.
like that's my personal go-to. Like I wouldn't
Okay.
say that that's the personal go-to for Shopify or like other folks, but that's because I've gotten used to it over the years, and so there's like more, even better and more modern libraries. I mean, I wouldn't qualify anything better than anything else, right? Because each one has its own qualities. But I would say that there's like more modern or more 2021 libraries that I haven't explored yet. But you got to know the names, like it's not about knowing absolutely everything, but it's about knowing what's out there, and potentially in a new project like this with the Loteria, then you can pick something new if you want to try it out.
Yep. Yep. I've been playing with Chakra actually. I like a lot. If you're doing web, you may wanna take a look at it. Yep. Cool.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Actually, you mentioned it, so I'm curious because I
Yeah.
haven't seen it at all. All right, so here, so the call stack is the board itself. We are going to call the on Loteria method, which
Hmm.
is going to be a callback to the board, the original, to the app itself, and this is really just going to evaluate the winner, right? And so now we can implement inside of the hook the evaluate winner method, which is going to be uh, board, which is going to be essentially an array of cards, and here's where we're going to do the comparison. What do we do here? We say,
Do you expect every like for the drone deck to contain every card on the board, right?
yes. I forgot the method of yeah,
I
I
think
forgot
we
the
don't
method
need.
of JavaScript to do that.
I think it's actually named every, right? So
Okay, yeah.
whether every board, let's switch it around. So every card on the board should be included in drone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there is like a better way of writing this. So yeah, but I think. Oh
Is
well,
this going
yeah.
to return true
Return.
or false?
Yes, 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 yes. We need to
Oh,
actually
okay.
return it. I think yes. So
Okay, I didn't know that method. Okay, that's good to know.
yeah. So I think.
So here, there's going to be more to it actually. So I think that we can say, because well, it's I
The
think
length,
it's
probably. I would probably double check the length. It needs to be 12. And that's a variable that we may want to put somewhere else instead of just like hard coding it right now.
yeah.
But yeah,
So the
the length needs to be 12.
evaluate winner, essentially what it does is it's returning true or false, right? But
Mhm.
here, true or false literally has no meaning because we're not displaying it anywhere. Um, do you think that we can essentially say, uh, here's something like const
Okay, cool.
is winner, oops, use state. It's going to be false at the beginning. This already automatically assigns a boolean, infers the boolean, and so we can say const handle winner, and then we say it's. Oh man, these naming conventions are all over the place. But here we say if evaluate winner hearts, right?
Uh-huh.
Then we say,
Well, you can just set it, right? You don't need the if, I think. Or what
oh
are you
yeah,
doing?
actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Winner chicken dinner.
It's true. The button has been pressed. Then we can say, so something like, div is winner is la buena. And so this handle winner method is going to be
Yeah.
like that. There you go. What do you think?
I think it should work. Let me bring up like the okay. So let's check it out. And oh, but you know what? We're actually gonna have to play, so that's gonna be interesting. So
I mean, we could just select them all, and it should say that we didn't win. So, oh, actually, it's not going to say anything.
yeah, that's the thing. But you know what? If we draw them all, or if we draw most of them, like if we ensure that the only thing left is something that we don't have here. So, for example, we don't have El Musico here. This should work. Oh, something
Es la
happened here.
buena.
Where is it? I
Yeah,
cannot see it.
yeah, it's up there. It's up there.
Oh, there you
Right
go.
below the
Okay,
button.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yep.
So yeah. All right.
I mean, strictly speaking, it works. So, yeah.
Yes, it's. Oh,
Cool.
your Spanish is good. Don't worry. I mean, it doesn't sound as playful as in English, but yes.
Yeah, no, but it's fair. Cool. So, yeah, we are pretty much on time, 90 minutes. Like, I think it is funny because Antonio was a little bit hesitant that we'd make it. I was a little bit too optimistic, probably. I think we ended up in between. I mean, it's decent. We generally rank on a rank from 1 to 5. The folks that we interview. If I was to rank ourselves, it'd probably be a 3. So I mean, good thing is that we passed the interviews already, because otherwise it'd be like a coin toss. But well,
I mean,
so
so yeah,
mhm.
yeah. No, go ahead. You're gonna say.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any question from the folks on the audience that maybe we can answer before calling it a day. So No, thank you very much for that 10-10. You are
10 out of 10.
definitely
Nice.
a kinder person than I am when it comes to reviewing code. So we're gonna, yeah, I'm gonna sync up probably tomorrow with the folks on the, like, behind the curtains, to see how we can make this series public. It's something that we should have talked, but well, in our defense, it's the first code show, so I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm
Hmm.
gonna sync up with them to see how we can upload the code to GitHub, either as, the Shopify org, or maybe if we need to do it like personally. And yeah, I'm gonna make sure to like leave a comment on YouTube, and perhaps ask the folks on social media to also comment it out, so that you can look at it, you can play with it, and you can get an idea of what we do. So again, if there is no question whatsoever, I would like to remind you that we are hiring. It is
Yes.
like super cool, as Antonio mentioned, to be able to work from the beach, or to work from pretty much wherever you want.
Yeah.
So what should you focus on when preparing for an interview at Shopify on front end? Yeah, I think web development helps. It depends on the team that you're working with, but generally web development helps. Since we use React a lot on the front end, if you can do React, that'll be helpful. If you feel more
Hmm.
comfortable with vanilla JavaScript, that should be cool. As Antonio mentioned, we do have like a certain tech stack that we tend to default to, but the most important thing, and the important thing, is for you to feel confident with whatever stack you choose. So we're going to
Hmm.
look at the level of mastery on the stack of your choice. If
Hmm.
you choose like a super cryptic language whatsoever, we're probably going to have to try to meet in the middle. But
Hmm.
just display level of mastery. If you've been doing like on web, if you've been doing like ASP instead of React or whatever, that should be fine.
Hmm.
So yeah, just if you could like maybe talk about things like accessibility and all that, like generally web development best practices throughout your interview, that'll be
Hmm.
cool. And then on the pair programming, it's basically going to be doing something similar to what we did. Obviously not what we did, but kind of similar, chances are,
Hmm.
with a little bit of interactivity and styling and all that. So what do you think, Antonio?
Yeah. I mean, I actually think we did really well. So I think that for me, at least in my experience from the process of interviewing at Shopify, because I haven't done interviews yet. I haven't done the training to be able to do interviews myself. But the what I gather from the interview process at Shopify is that the folks that interview me, they were looking at my not only my quality of the code but also the communication style. So if you're a person that doesn't speak, right, it's probably it can mean a lot of things. But if you are like verbalizing what you think in the process, right, and probably potentially validating with the interviewer, then it is a good sign always to talk through the thought process you're putting into something. It is sometimes kind of daunting, but I think that the folks that interview me did a really good job to make me feel comfortable in the interview process, and that was really helpful for me. So yeah.
Yeah. So Jahairo asks if it can be really like from everywhere around the world. Yes, tax wise, the only implication is that if we have a legal entity where you are located, then well, it's going to be like way easier. If we do not, then we can find ways to make it work, perhaps temporarily as a contractor, perhaps I don't know. It's going to depend on your situation, the team, and all that. But again, it's not like absolutely everywhere around the world, because well, there are like nuisances about certain
Hmm.
countries and whatever, but for the most part, it is everywhere around the world. So yeah, it'd be cool if you can apply.
Yeah.
Cool. So if there is nothing else, I would like to thank you all for spending your time with us, your evening or afternoon with us. It's been super fun. I hope that this demonstrates that we are not looking for you to be perfect. We're looking for you to really like what you do, to really be willing to share and to display this growth mindset, and this, trying to go for the opportunities, trying to communicate what you're doing, and trying to enjoy what you do. So thank you very much for joining the stream. And yeah, till next time.
Bye everyone.